Differentiated learning is about getting all students to come to learning. So if you have weaker students, you will have to assign more instructions. You will have to give them more instructions. If you have students that are already done with your assignments and are already real quick, you'll need to challenge them more. This is one way of differentiating, so helping the weaker students and challenging the other students. Another way of differentiating is by differentiating on interests. So students will come to learning much easier when you assign lesson assignments and lesson subjects that are closer to their interest. Some students like to make class homework that is more about audio. Some students like to watch video. Some students like to read. Some students like to watch images and so on. So those are all things that will trigger their interest more, and so they will start learning more and learning better, and they will come to learning faster. So let's see how we're going to do this in BookWidgets. The most important thing to know is, again, that you should install the Chrome plugin. If you have done that, you can go through here and go to BookWidgets. So like this. I'm going to create a new widget. I'm going to show you how you can use the quiz for differentiated learning in a few ways, actually. So I'm not going to create a quiz from start. I have a BookWidgets quiz right here that I created in the first webinar, and I'm just going to use this one, and I'm going to change some settings so I can use this one for differentiated learning, for differentiating in my classroom. So I'm going to click on the arrow right here, and I'm going to edit the quiz. So the first thing is that you should know that every question has the opportunity to add audio. So if you have a lot of dyslexic students that cannot read or that find it hard to understand your questions, this is really handy. Just click on audio. Let's say, what are the indicated capital cities? Click on audio, record it, like here. What are the indicated capital cities? Accept. That's it. And if I go to my preview, I will see that my students have the chance, let's go to the question, have the chance to play the audio as well. So they can read a question, and if they cannot read it or don't understand the question, they can easily just choose to click on the audio fragment. What are the indicated capital cities? So like this. So you can choose to assign this quiz to all your students and then just give your students a choice, or you can choose to duplicate the quiz and just assign this quiz with the audio fragment to the students who need it. So you can choose that as well. So every question has the opportunity to add audio. Just scroll down to your question and add some audio. That's one thing. The other thing is a general, like here, a general option. This is an option that is not very known to BookWidgets user, but it's really, really handy for differentiating and for actually dividing your students into groups based on their mastering of your subject. So let's see, if you go to general and the correction options, you have the feedback option. This is an automatic feedback that pops up at the end of the quiz for your students based on their score. So if you don't want to see, if you don't want your students to see their score, it doesn't matter. They will still get some feedback based on their score. Also, they just don't know what score they got. So you can click on feedback, and let's create some feedback rules and see how this works. So we have a feedback, and then you have to add some scores. So if the score is lower than, let's say 60%, because I want that they really master 60%, or I could say 70% even, then they will get this message. Let's say, try again. Check your textbook page like this. Okay, so this is actually a message the students will get. You can let your students try over and over again until they make it, until their score is higher than 70%. And to do that, you can guide them, you can give them extra instructions. They have to look at their textbook, they have to go over the basics again, and you can actually lead them to another widget as well. So you can link here and just add a widget URL. I'll just take one right here so you can see what I mean. Confirm. So this is just a widget link, and I can paste it like this, and they can go over the basics again in this widget. This is just a random widget I just chose. It doesn't go with my quiz earlier. So this is one message. You can add another feedback. So the score is lower than 100%. This means that the feedback rules go over each other. So they complement each other. And this will mean that the first rule is lower than 70%. So between 70 and 100%, they will get this score. Good work. Go to you can say good work, go to the next exercise, or any other feedback you just want. You can link again to another exercise that's probably more advanced, and that they need to master at least 70% to go to that next exercise. So I can again insert a link in here. Let's say memory game. I like this, confirm. Okay, so there are two feedback rules right here, but you can do more. So if you say, okay, between 0 and 30%, that means that she or he has to really start over again and come to the teacher maybe. So you can ask them to ask for explanation from the teacher in front of the classroom, perhaps. Then you could insert a group from between 30% to 60%, 60 to 80, and 80 to 100. You can just override all those rules if you want to. So this is the automatic feedback score, in which you actually divide your students in groups based on their knowledge of the lesson content and how much they master your lesson content, your learning materials. So you can go back like here. Let's now say, you can let them submit their answers. In this case, it's a completely automatically graded test, so they will get feedback. So I don't need my students to submit the answers. Then we have the general options. I think everything is in place right now. So there are 3 questions. I think every question is automatically graded, yes. And I can share it with my students right here. I can share it with all my students, or I can actually, wait for it, or I can save it to draft. When I use Save Draft to Google Classroom, when I use this option, I can, I'm not setting it online onto Google Classroom yet. I can go to the drafts, and I can later on choose to which student specifically I want to assign this work. So if you have one widget for a dyslexic student with more images and more audio instructions, you can just save it to draft and then send it to the classroom stream of that one student. This is this option. But now I want to send it to all my students. Send it to Google Classroom. Right there. Okay. And I'm going to switch my screen. Let's see where it is. Is this it? No, this is it. Okay, so now I am a student. I click on show. So the stream was updated. I can just click on this one and I can open it. It can be that I've already made this test. Yeah, clear. Okay, so I can listen if I want to. If I'm a dyslexic student, this can come in handy. Or just let's say we're really bad. So we're just going to Amsterdam, make some mistakes, like a lot of mistakes, like this. We'll make one that's okay, then this is a mistake and a mistake. Then let's say this is okay, this is a mistake, a mistake, a mistake. This is true, true, and let's say a mistake again. Okay, so this is a quiz students don't have to submit to Google Classroom, so they can click on show answers to see how much they have gotten. And this is the feedback, the automatic feedback that pops up based on their score. So you can see they have a 5 out of 16. I can delete this. I can, as a teacher, I can also choose for this that my students cannot see their score, but just the feedback. So this is also a nice option that they just see the feedback. They can go back if they want. Or they can go to this widget right here and they click on it and then they go to the widget. I can see this link is broken, so we'll need to fix that. So they can just go check, see the feedback and go back if they want. Yep, it's not broken. It's just my computer is really, really slow. So this is another exercise in which they have to do some basics, or they can learn the definitions or the European cities and so on. Of course, this isn't really suitable to this one. Okay, they can just go back to the widget as well. It's automatically graded. The answer, she can see the answers right here. Another option in the quiz is to let your students correct the mistakes. So in that case, they won't get the answers, but they will see what they did wrong and they can just try to do it again and then show the answers again, and maybe they'll get another feedback message. So let's go back to the teacher. I hope this is all clear. I'll show you, so edit, how you can do this. So when I go to title and to general and the correction options, I have my feedback, but I also have always allow editing. If I enable this option, my students will be able to change, to go to the widget, to open the widget again, change their answers, and show the answers again and see if they can make it from less than 70% to more than 70% and get another feedback message and continue to another widget, to another exercise that is more advanced. So that was the quiz. Now I want to show you, don't update. Okay. Now I want to show you more possibilities for differentiating when it comes to different lesson content, learning resources, for differentiating on students' interests. If you create a new widget, you see that there are a lot of opportunities here and a lot of different learning activities you can use, but you can insert the same content. So this will mean that a student will get a different learning exercise with the same content and still learn the same things, but they will be more engaged in your content, with your content, and learn easier. As I've used the crossword riddle right here, this is a crossword riddle widget. This is about fruits. So they just it's about fruits. Actually, everything I'm about to show is about fruits. It's the same learning content. It's just in a different format. And I'm using all these different activities in class corner work. So I let my students choose what they want to do, what kind of exercise. Is it a crossword riddle, or it's flashcards? Is it a hotspot image? I let them choose, but they're still learning the same thing, but they are more engaged. So I want to show you how many times you can reinvent the same content. This is one. This is another. So we have a memory game. So this one is really hard, actually, because they have to translate this, and then they have to find the matching things. This is a memory game. Of course, if you want to make it less hard, so this is actually for advanced students that want to trigger their memory as well. But if you want to make it less hard, again, differentiate, again, you can just use a pair matching game instead of a memory game. So every little card will be reversed, and they will be able to see what's on it from the start. So we have a crossword riddle about fruits. We have a memory game. We have some tip tiles. Here you can actually, so this is just translation, but you can actually insert an audio as well. So when the teacher just says how it's pronounced, this is also nice. Then we have a hotspot image. Listen clearly.
Un poivron. Des carottes. Un poivron. La laitue. Un chou-fleur. Des bananes.
So this is a hotspot image widget that works with images and audio. So if your students are more attracted to images or want to listen instead of read, this one is also really nice to learn about. Of course, again, we're the same about fruits and vegetables. Then we just have a flashcard widget in which students can just have to learn and study or practice the translations. This one is combined with text, an image, and of course the possibility again to add audio.
Des raisins.
And next.
Une framboise.
So this is another
Un ananas.
To learn again instead of the others. We have a normal split worksheet. In this one, they have to read a text, and then they can check their understanding by answering the questions, and then check out the answers that the student gave like here, what are the answers? So it's automatically graded. Not their answer is graded, but you can give your own answer as a teacher, as it are open questions. These are no short answer questions. So then we have, yeah. So this is nice when you want to differentiate in the interests of your students and see what kind of way they would love to learn. So there are a lot of things you can use for differentiated learning. Another one is the WebQuest widget. The WebQuest widget allows you to combine different widgets with each other. Let me show you an example. This is a WebQuest widget. It's actually a website you can build with different tabs, like here, and different sections on the side. I will show you right away. You can add text, you can add images, you can add tables, you can add other widgets, as I've said. You can add video, you can add audio, you can add everything you want. You can even embed other web pages inside this complete widget. So what's the purpose of this widget? Students come to the introduction and they see they have to make exercises and they have to get in total 12 stars. That's what they need. And every exercise has a difficulty level. So an exercise with 1 star is easier than an exercise with 3 stars. So they can just choose. This is an example of what possibilities are, what exercises they can make to get in total 12 stars. There's one rule, and that is, I would like you to make at least one difficult exercise of 3 stars too. So they cannot just do only 1 star exercises or 2 star exercises. As a teacher, I ask them to do a 3 star exercises, so to really go to the advanced exercise and try it, at least try it, and then they can go through the other exercises. This is how it looks like. Students go to the exercises right here. Then I have my 1 star exercises, my 2 star exercises, and my 3 star exercises. These are just widgets I added to a WebQuest widget. If you need more information about the WebQuest, take a look at the tutorial, or there's also a nice webinar video on YouTube about the WebQuest. So students can just say, okay, I want to do 1 exercise of the 1 star, and they can just choose what kind of exercise. So let's say I want to create a pair matching like this. This is an easy exercise, I would say. Then I go back. Then I want to do 2 exercises of 2 stars. So this is a worksheet. It's a little bit harder. You can see that the percentages and the fractions are harder. This is just a worksheet. They can automatically grade answers as well. This is an automatically graded worksheet. And they can go to the 3 stars, like here. If I go to the pair matching again, you'll see there's a difference between the exercises here, and this is really, it's harder for my students than the first one, of course. So those are 2 ways of differentiating. Another way to differentiate is using the quiz with the automatic feedback inside a WebQuest. So what I'm about to do, so this would be, imagine that you put a quiz in here, a general classical quiz, and my students have to take it. On the end of the quiz, my students will get an automatic feedback, and the feedback will be, you're in group blue, and the other group gets You're in group red. So the blue group is maybe the weaker group or doesn't understand everything about the quiz or about the learning content, will have to go to a tab I created as a teacher, a blue, this will say blue, and there will be another tab right here that will say red. So they will create the quiz in the introduction here, then they go to the blue tab or the red tab. So an advanced exercise or an exercise with more instructions. That's also a possibility. These are the tabs here. I'm not going over the web quest and how you create one right away because that will take a lot of time. So then I have one more option to differentiate, and those is the people that joined me yesterday will already know a little bit what option that is. So I created a planner widget yesterday. So if you create a new widget, you can scroll down and click on the planner. I created one yesterday, so I'm going to use the same one and make some changes. Okay. So the planner is nice to differentiate as well. What you can do is to start with an empty planner. Let's say this is an empty planner. Yes, it is. Okay. This is an empty planner your students will get. So this doesn't say anything about their level or about what they can handle or not. This is just, again, differentiating on let's say interest or exercises that are leveled. So as a teacher, I added a task list right here, and students can just choose to do their own exercises. So let's say they have to make at least 3 exercises. They can just start adding those exercises. So let's say they see it's a crossword riddle, they want to make a crossword riddle, I can make this exercise as a student. Then I want to create a quiz, and then I want to watch a video. Let's say it's like this. Then my students can just click on this and go to the crossword riddle. This is the one I should have used like before. And they can just create it, make it, and then go to the next and the next and the next. So this is just differentiating what your students would like to learn. Of course, it's moderated by the teacher because you choose the choice between all the exercises. This is one way to do it. Okay. Let me show you another way. Okay. I'm going to the BookWidgets blog. Okay. So I showed this to the people yesterday again. So I'm just showing this now. If you want to know how to create these exercises, please watch the webinar from yesterday. It's online, it's on YouTube, and you can ask me for the link. So here again, this is not an empty planner. It's a planner that you give your students, and you choose what exercises they have to make. So you could create a copy of this, and you could say this is for an advanced student. I know this is an advanced student, so I just assign it to this student. So you can see it's arithmetic level 3, pair matching level 3, and worksheet level 1. So this is actually an advanced student. Here, student has the options. When he or she is done, she can add and make other exercises. So the next step would be that this student creates a worksheet level 2 and a worksheet level 3. And then she or he is at the ultimate level of learning. If you have weaker students, you can assign lower level assignments as well. I'm just using levels here to show you what I mean. Of course, make sure to not disadvantage students by labeling them in levels. So groups would be nicer maybe, or stars, or I don't know how you could do it. That's one way to do it. Oh yeah, this one again, here you can add some audio to give instructions to students who need it.
Click on the link to make the exercise. Check the box when you're done.
So this is, of course, another possibility for dyslexic students that don't know what to do, or students that just need more instructions. Like this. I think, yep, I've gone through everything today. So we have the quiz with the automatic feedback function and the option to add audio to every single question. And of course the option so that students can resubmit their work and to correct their answers and try to really master their learning. Then we have the web quiz, in which we can gather different widgets that are leveled maybe, or you can use a quiz in it and assign your students based on the feedback on a score to a certain group, in which there are exercises and other BookWidgets exercises they can go to, they have to make. And you can use different, like this one, different widget types to differentiate in their interests, so differentiate in the interests of your students, so they can really actually just choose an exercise and build on that one. And the content is the same, they are learning the same thing, but it's just another form, another way to do this.